Yo, what's going on, Duster? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I've played this before, beaten it, but I thought it would be fun to stream it and then record it and then put it all on YouTube. So that's the plan anyway. This is such a great game, and I think the remake was really good. And I got a Switch too. It's one of the first Switch games I bought because I was like, yeah, I definitely want to play that. I also like how you can switch between the original music or the new, like, Switch music. Oh, yeah. Well, it's like my Oculus Quest 2. I'm actually trying to sell that right now because I haven't played that in a long time. Quack Attack Gaming, welcome in. If you took out the post new game bosses and compared apples to apples, which do you prefer? Hmm. I don't know. If you're talking about like the extra bosses in this game, like the Final Fantasy boss, I usually don't play those bosses. Qlex, I think. I usually don't play him. But welcome in all the same. But yeah, when I played through this last time, beat it, I just kept the new music on like the whole time because I had not gotten to listen to all the new like versions of the songs or the new arrangements. So I just wanted to hear all of them, especially Booster's Tower. Like, I don't know what it is, but one of my favorite songs is Booster's Tower. So always, like, since I used to rent this game as like a kid. So oh really? I didn't know that. So yeah, I couldn't wait to get to Booster's Tower, and when I did, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I like how they redid the music. But yeah, I normally stream on Tuesday nights. We do Turntable Tuesday. That's where I spin records while playing retro games, and then we finish with some Jackbox. But I've been wanting to stream more than just Tuesday nights, so I'm gonna try to do some weekend streams, and I think we're gonna try to do Mario RPG every weekend until I beat it. So, ah, damn, 15 stream watch streak though. Good on you. It's gonna be. I probably mentioned this, but it's going to be my 10-year Twitch anniversary this year in August. I've been streaming off and on since 2016, since August of 2016. So I'm trying to think of, I mean, obviously that's still a ways off, but I'm trying to think of something fun to do for that stream. And even though it's like not, my streaming has not been consistent since like 2016, I'm still counting it, so. Oh yeah. I mean, I talk about this a lot, but I remember my first stream because it just kind of happened sort of randomly because another friend of mine who doesn't really stream much on Twitch anymore, but he was the first guy I followed and became friends with on Twitch. He was streaming one night, and I said, you know, I think I'm going to try to stream this Indiana Jones game, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. I had it on my computer. I bought it on, I think on GOG, and I said, I think I'm going to try to stream it. And of course, I had tried to stream stuff before, but I didn't know anything about like settings, bit rate, and stuff like that, so it never worked. And I said, but I'm not sure if it's going to work. And he was like, well, I'll definitely pop in and tell you if it looks, you know, okay. And I was like, oh, that'd be great. And then I think I streamed, I can't remember. I think I started around 11, like when he finished. And I think I streamed till like 3 a.m. And Sanic was there, and he stayed the whole time, which, you know, I mean, God love him. That was commitment right there. You know, there are things about this version. There are some things that I can kind of see why people wouldn't like it, you know. Like, you know, switching the characters mid-battle, yeah. And they have, like, the group attack that they can do now, depending on, like, who's in your group. You can do, like, a big group attack, or it might be, like, a group heal. So, yeah, for me, it's kind of like, there's things I like about the new version, but, yeah, there's definitely things that, you know, it's like they probably didn't need to add that. So I guess for me, it kind of goes both ways. There's things I like, and there's things I don't like, I guess. And there's definitely things I had to, like, kind of get used to. Like, I have to get used to timing my defense. Yeah, because I haven't played this in a while. Some things I don't mind, like when you attack one enemy, but then it also does damage to the other enemies. Which I don't know if that was always a thing in the original. But it definitely helps if you have like a lot of enemies you're fighting and you can deal damage to all. I guess you could say it kind of makes it a little easier. You can maybe get through it a little faster. But you know, like when I played through this last time, you know, of course it was the first time I played through it, and they explained like the group attacks, and I think I only used the group attack like maybe once. And then like never again, just because I didn't feel I needed to. I mean, there's not much I would want to rush, I guess, but I don't know, maybe like if you're just trying to grind, it makes it a little faster. But yeah, that is one thing I'll say. Like I didn't really care about the group attacks. Like that was kind of interesting that they did that, but I just I never used it because it's like I didn't need to, you know. And plus, towards the end, I already had like the best. I had the lazy shell, so I had like the best weapon and all that stuff. So I didn't need to anyway. But yeah, a friend of mine is playing through Final Fantasy 3 on Super Nintendo right now. And so I thought, well, if he's doing that, streaming that, I guess I could stream this. I've often wanted to do a playthrough that I could stream on Twitch and then upload to YouTube. And I actually tried with the original Mario RPG a long time ago, but things just kept getting in the way, and I would start playthroughs and then not be able to finish them. So I feel like I'm actually going to do it this time. So. Right. Yeah, that would be nice. I always think a lot of games, they should give you the option to turn certain things off if you don't want them. I mean, it's like last year I got Mortal Kombat 1, the new one for PS5, and it was the first Mortal Kombat I'd played where you have like assists from other characters, so you can have another character come in and like help you. And I really didn't like that at all, like at first, because I'd never seen that in a Mortal Kombat game before. And I've kind of gotten used to it now, but that's still something where I'm like, well, it would be nice if they would give you the option to play it without assists, just for people that maybe don't really, you know, want that. Because it can be good if you have an assist to come in and help you in a match against like a computer or something. But then when they have the assist and they start using that on you and you start losing, then it's not very fun anymore. So right. Yeah. I will say though, I do like what they have been doing with you know, adding like characters like from movies and different shows. You know, it's like either like unlockable characters or, well, I think a lot of them you buy in the packs, but you know, like Mortal Kombat 1 has Robert Patrick from Terminator 2 as the Terminator from Terminator 2, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, 11 had Rambo and RoboCop, and that was pretty cool. So, it. Nice. Yeah, I think I have most of the new characters for Mortal Kombat 1. I bought, like, Peacemaker and, trying to think who else. Well, like I said, Terminator and, well, whatever other ones there are. I think I bought most of the packs when they got released. I mean, they definitely did something different with Mortal Kombat 1. Not just with the assists, but also, like, not that I really follow the story much, but I know that they changed up the whole story to... That would be cool, yeah. Yeah, they sort of did that on, I think, like, some of the PS2 ones. They had, like, a character creator. It wasn't like anything too special, but you know, it was there. Yeah, Deception, right? But that would be really cool. You could like customize how they look and like all the moves and give them a fatality and stuff. That's like one of the reasons I have so much fun with wrestling games is because I like to create wrestlers. Because I always try to go in there and make, characters on that. Back in the day, like when I had an Xbox 360 and I would play on Xbox Live, you would see a lot of really good, like, created characters for, like, wrestling games. Yeah, I was trying to get it, but I missed it. But, I remember one time, I forget which game it was, might have been, like, one of the Raw games or something. But a guy did Tony Montana from Scarface, and it was really good. Like, you could tell he really put time into it. I think a guy did Ronald McDonald once. That was kind of funny. It's like when he's like explaining the whole thing. And the fact that he could just change into other characters like Bowser and stuff. Oh yeah. I didn't need him to tell me how to equip stuff, but I guess I said I didn't know. I don't know. I looked away for a minute. I think the last time I played this though, I did have a lot of fraud coins by the end of it. Because I remember buying stuff at the I think it was at the Tadpole Pond. I bought stuff with the frog coins. Yeah, I never did find all the hidden chests. This is probably not going to be like a 100% playthrough. It's just going to be a get to the end playthrough. I've never really been good at 100% in games. I actually debated on whether or not I was going to do this game or do Ocarina of Time. And I do want to do that one because I've actually never beaten that one, but I decided to do this one first because I like this one a lot. Right. I mean, these cutscenes do look really nice, I have to say. I never would have thought they would have done like an HD remake of this game. And actually, when it came out, I didn't have a Switch at the time. I had one, I'd gotten rid of it. So I just kind of said, well, if I ever get another Switch, I'll get it and play it. And then when I got a Switch 2, I was like, well, I guess this is the perfect opportunity to get it. So I like to joke because I got my Switch 2 from Walmart. I ordered it from Walmart. And I spent a lot of money, as you know, people well know, because the Switch 2 was not cheap. But I like to joke that at least I got some snacks out of it, because if you ordered from Walmart, they sent you a little goodie bag with like snacks and Tide Pods and Listerine and a bunch of random stuff. Oh yeah, I've played Astrobot. I didn't 100% it, but I did beat it. I think I did beat it, yeah. But I had fun with it for when I was playing it. When I played it, I kind of felt like, why are all new games not like this? Like, because it was the first game I played in a while that I was really, like, invested in. What's the reward? I never did get to the end, but, I mean, I don't care if you know. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could kind of see, you know, not kind of feeling like that was not, maybe not much. I liked a lot of the references, like, that they made to the older PlayStation games. I didn't get all of them, but the ones that, I did get, it was kind of neat to see. When I had PlayStation VR, which was only for a short time, I played Astrobot Rescue Mission. So I had kind of been familiar with the character, at least through that. And I did think that was a good game for PlayStation VR, even though I kind of felt like there weren't like a lot of great VR games for PlayStation VR, but At least that one was interesting. Oh yeah, I never 100%ed Mario Sunshine. There's actually a lot of games I've never 100%ed because I'm just either don't have the time or I just don't take the time, I guess. Or maybe I'm just lazy, I don't know. Yeah, it's been a long time since I played through Mario 64. I have it because I have the EverDrive 64 and it's on there. But I really haven't played that game in a long time. I got the N64 around the time it came out, I think for my birthday. And I got Mario 64 with it. And I remember my dad at the time saying that he was just really amazed with the graphics because it was pretty, you know, cool stuff to see at that time. I mean, you know, you might look back on it now and think it wasn't like anything special, but at the time it looked pretty cool, I thought. Well, I'll tell you this. I have an EverDrive and I have a Raspberry Pi 4, I think it is. So most of what you'll see me play, if you see me play anything other than this, is going to be either on one of those or the other. Because I just don't have the room to collect cartridges and discs. So I just tried to make it easier on myself. Been good at the jumps in this. It is nice when you get a once again every once in a while. Doesn't happen often, but it's nice when you're able to get a second attack in. Trying to remember, I think the last time I played this, I went through it with Mario, Peach, Gino. I think that was my team. I know that, you know, people have a lot of different variations on like who they like to use. And I don't know if I'll switch it up this time or not, but I had Peach because she could heal, and Geno because I like Geno and his attacks are pretty good, so. Well, we certainly wouldn't want the Nintendo people to come after me. I know there was a guy that was doing some stuff he shouldn't have been doing, and then he pretty much poked the bear by almost like taunting them and kind of being like, oh, you know, what are you going to do? And then they sued him, and he had to pay them all this money. So it's like, yeah, don't ever tell a big company like that, like, oh, what are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. It's like, no, actually, they're probably going to sue your ass, and then you're going to have like $0 left after that. Cool, we got a frog coin out of that. Right. Yeah, I think Dorkly on YouTube that does little animations with Mario and different characters. I think they did a video where it was like Mario at some big like game premiere, and he turns to the camera and says, "And if anyone puts this on YouTube, you owe me 20%." Yeah, I just remembered okay, I do have the fireball. Okay, cool. I couldn't remember if I got that yet or not. Yeah, when I was a kid and I rented this game, I didn't really understand about like leveling up and like grinding like to level up. So I tried to rush through it like as much as possible, and I avoided like a lot of the enemies because I just, you know, I didn't think about like trying to level up. So of course I'm trying to go through it and I'm not leveled up, and every fight is like taking a really long time, and I don't understand why. Right. I remember always liking this part as a kid. Get the star. I think I will go for the other chest. Oh, yeah. I got to Croco as a kid, and I didn't have Fire Orb. because I didn't know that I needed to level up to get that. And that actually did make that fight a lot harder. I think when you're a kid sometimes, though, you know, you have a tendency to just kind of rush through a lot of things. You know, it's like you get something, there's instructions, you're like, well, I don't need to read the instructions. I'll figure it out, you know. Now it's like I always read the instructions. But also, too, I had really bad ADD as a kid. So being able to like sit still and focus was very hard for me. So that also plays a big part in a lot of that. Yeah, you know, I rented Harvest Moon as a kid, and I never got anywhere in that game because they kept saying, well, you can't do anything until you've talked to everybody, like, in the town. And I'm like, I thought I talked to everybody in the town, but evidently I didn't. I had one of the Harvest Moon games, I think, on PS2, and I remember playing it a few times, but then I kind of got bored with it. Yeah, that's a pretty popular thing now. Is like everything has to have like a simulation game, you know. You know, it's like lawnmower simulator, bulldozer simulator, truck simulator, cooking simulator. You know, somebody's probably made a take out the trash simulator. Like, you know, it's always one thing or another. Yeah, Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator, I mean, at least that one, like, is kind of fun to mess around in just for a laugh. But, yeah. And I actually have a friend on Twitch who used to stream Power Wash Simulator. I don't know if he still does or not, but he used to. I tried to play Cooking Simulator on my computer once. I bought it on Steam. And something about the controls, I just could not get the controls down in that game. It was very weird. Like I had trouble like trying to pick up like a knife to chop something. And I didn't even know that you could like request returns for games on Steam. But I found out that you could, and I was just like, yeah, I can't figure out the controls. And they were just like, okay, here's your money back. But you also have to have only played the game like for under an hour or something, which I had, so. And I had a job simulator on my Oculus Quest 2. And I played that through once and did all the different simulations. Then I was pretty much done. Because there's only so much you can do in that before you're just kind of done. But yeah, right now I'm trying to sell my VR headset on eBay just because it sits in my closet and collects dust. I like never use it, so I just want to get rid of it. The only thing I ever really played on it was Tetris. Because I did like Tetris and I liked the music for Tetris. That was a game I never understood how to play as a kid, Tetris. And then when I finally figured it out, I ended up not being great at it, but at least I could play it. But as a kid, I just had no idea what to even do, because the only game, I mean, it's not the same game, but the only puzzle game that I played as a kid was Columns on Genesis, because I had the Genesis 6-pack cartridge, which had 6 games on it, and Columns was one of them. So I played Columns actually quite a bit. The only game I didn't play on there was Super Hang-On, because I kind of thought that was boring. Well, I gotta get better at this timing. I always kind of thought it was funny, you find the guy's wallet, and you can either give it back to him, or you can sell it and get 100 coins or whatever it is. It's well, you could be nice and give it back, or you could just sell it. Or there's the guy in, I forget which town it is, if it's Rose Town or Seaside Town, where he's got those treasures, and he's are my treasures okay? And you could say, oh yeah, they're fine. And then he goes in there and he's like, what happened? Final Fantasy VII, I gotta be honest, I have not played a lot of Final Fantasy games, so I can't really give an opinion because I don't have one, because I've never played that one. I tell people this, and it sounds silly, but it's true. But most of what I know about Final Fantasy, I know through Kingdom Hearts, because I have played those games. I just, I never really got into Final Fantasy, and it's nothing against anybody that likes it, because I know that a lot of people do. And I'm, like I said, I'm watching one of my friends stream through the Super Nintendo one right now. But it wasn't something I always gravitated towards. But Kingdom Hearts I liked because they mixed it with the Disney characters. So that made it fun for me, I guess. So probably not a great answer to that question, but I'll say this. I've only played 2 Final Fantasy games in my life. One of them was on PS4, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was probably very different than a lot of the main games. And I played one on PSP, and I'm not sure which one the PSP one was. But I just remember the one on PS4, I did a stream of it once, and I more kind of just made fun of it than actually played through it. Because I'm sure there's been like the main series, there's probably been some spin offs, and like a lot of different games. The one on PS4, all I remember is walking around. I think it was like a school or something, a college or something. And then I remember like some of the battles vaguely. But actually what happened was someone in my family say thanks for something nice I did for them, gave me a gift card to GameStop, which I was not expecting. So I went to GameStop and they had this Final Fantasy game for PS4, and I was like, well, maybe I'll try that, see how it is. And then I tried it, and then, like I said, I kind of more joked about it than actually played it. So it may have had, I don't know if it had a car. I don't remember a car. But this was years ago, so, my memory would be pretty bad. I want to say it was something like Final Fantasy Type O or Type 0 or something. So that may have not been like one of the mainline games. Yo, what's going on, Danny? Hope you've been doing well. Hope you had a good Valentine's Day today. Okay, it was a spinoff. Yeah, that makes sense because it definitely seemed like it was probably not one of the main games. Cool. Yeah, I had a nice day out. Went to the bookstore, had some lunch, went to Whole Foods, so it was a good day. I'm excited because this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm actually going to try to play through the whole of this game and upload it to YouTube. So basically I'm trying to do a Coach Crab and stream it and upload it to YouTube. Ooh, nice. Steak sounds good. I had my leftover stuff from lunch earlier. Yeah, and I had tried to do this with like the original Mario RPG a couple of times. This was years ago, and it just, something always came up, and then I'd start like a playthrough, I'd never finish it. So this time I'm not going to get distracted. I'm going to actually do it, I hope. But I mean, this is rare for me, streaming on the weekend. But I'm gonna try to do this more often, at least just to get through this game. Oh, well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Oh, that's nice. I never really watched Buffy. I mean, I remember when it was popular, but I never really watched it. And I've only seen bits and pieces of Adventure Time. I guess I didn't watch a lot of Cartoon Network. I more watched Adult Swim, I guess. Oh, the movie. Yeah. Yeah, I do like the movie. Yeah, you know, when I went to Half Price today, I was looking at their VHS tapes because I always, well, at least now, I always look at their VHS tapes because I want to see if they have anything maybe that you mentioned or if there's something you're looking for, you know. And I think most of it was, I would say, either you probably had it or you probably didn't care about it. But I still like to look, you know. I mean, even if I don't collect, I don't mind, you know, looking for other people. Yeah. Well, you know, it's like records for me, you know. I love looking for records. I love going to record shows. And even though I'm saving up for the record show at the end of the month, you know, I was at half price, so I was like, well, I'm at least going to get a couple of records at half price just because I'm here, you know. So I was very happy to find those Genesis records. And the Grand Funk Railroad one, it's got a scratch on it, but I'm hoping that it's not too bad that it's going to skip. And it was only $1, so I thought for $1 I could take a risk, you know. Yeah, I don't, at the moment, the only schedule that I really have is that I stream every Tuesday night. I mean, now that I'm doing this, I'll probably be streaming on weekends too, but I actually came back to streaming after a long time of not streaming because I discovered that I could play records and at the same time play games, and my friends and I could hang out and it could be a fun time, so that's what brought me back. Oh yeah. I don't think we have said McKay's. I don't think we have that here. Is that like a local thing? Alright, Duster. Have a good time with the movie. I'm looking forward to... Well, actually, I'm looking forward to Fright Night 2 on Wednesday because I've never seen Fright Night 2. So. You know, actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I think I read, funnily enough, that Fright Night 2 just got like a new Blu-ray release or something like that. I think I read that online somewhere. But yeah, we have Half Price here, and then we have Second Charles is the other one. Second and Charles is actually a really nice place. It's kind of far from where I live. It's more than a couple hours drive, so I can't like get over there all the time. But it's like a really large Half Price Books, and they have everything. They have like movies, they have records, they sell guitars, they sell all kinds of stuff. Right. Yeah, when I started on Twitch, I had a lot of friends that streamed. But, you know, life happens, you know, sometimes you have like family things that you have to do, and sometimes it's work, and so slowly over time a lot of my friends who used to stream stopped streaming, and then I became the only one, at least of that group, that was streaming for a while. So I kind of just, you know, I thought, well, that's fine, because I actually really like getting back into streaming, and I like just hanging out with my friends and having a good time. So, you know, it's nice. That's nice. Didn't take as long as I thought it would. One game that I would like to play through at some point is Paper Mario, because I have played the first one. I've never beaten it, and I don't think I ever played any of the sequels. But I do have the first one, but I just never got around to actually like finishing it. I'm not going to be like Coach and do all the voices though. I thought about that at first. I was like, well, I could try and do that, but I don't think I have the strength or the energy to do all that. That kind of feels like a Coach thing anyway, not a Sarge thing. Right, right. Well, you know, it's like I do YouTube as well, and for a long time, like my main channel, I said like I'm going to start making videos again, and then I just, you know, a lot of life stuff happened, and I just wasn't able to make videos as much, and now I'm trying to get back into that too, but that's also hard because you got to like shoot videos, then you got to edit them and upload them, and it's a whole thing, you know. Part of it is me being lazy, and part of it is just it's a lot of work. And you know, it's like getting like monetized on YouTube. You go on there and they're like, well, you got to have like over whatever thousand something followers or subscribers on YouTube. And it's like, yeah, I might have like a couple hundred, but that's about it. And then there's all this other stuff too, these other requirements. And it's like, yeah, I probably have a better chance of getting a little more popular on Twitch than I do on YouTube, you know, since I do Twitch more. Right. See, I never even like really scripted any of my stuff. Not that any of the stuff I do really needs to be scripted, but that is something I want to move towards doing at some point, is doing some scripted stuff, like maybe where I talk about records or talk about albums or turntables or whatever. I even like downloaded an app on my phone that's like a teleprompter app, so that I could like just pull it up like a script and like read it as I'm shooting. But I just haven't like actually messed with it. I like how it's just like, it's a shirt. Yeah, I've already been down there, forgot. Alright, so we're going to the sewers. Right. Yeah, I've watched a lot of your YouTube stuff, like since, you know, you told me about it. There's still a lot of it I haven't watched. Need to go back and watch, but you know, I tried one time to do like some gaming videos, and I tried to like kind of script it out, but it was just a lot of work. I forget if I saved. Okay, I did. Yeah, it is a lot of work. You know, I had an uncle once who used to say, well, he said this once to me. He said, and this is him not knowing or understanding anything about like YouTube and how YouTube works. And he's just like, yeah, you need to find a way to make that YouTube money. And I'm like, oh, believe me, like if I could, I would, but it's not that easy. You don't just start a YouTube channel and all of a sudden you're getting paid. Like that's not how it works, you know. Right. Yeah, see, I don't really like beg people to follow me. In fact, I don't even really like advertise myself or my streams that much. But I don't really like people like that. I also don't like people that like come into somebody's stream. Well, there's two things. People that come into somebody's stream and try to tell them what to play, like, I want you to play this game. It's like, well, no, I'm already playing the game that I'm playing. And I also don't like people that come in and are just like, not that I've had this a lot, but I've seen in other streams. I don't like people that come in and just like beg over and over to be a mod. Like, can I be a mod? Please, please let me be a mod. It's like, yeah, if you want to be a mod in somebody's stream, that's the wrong way to go about it. Like, I've said this before, but I had a friend once who was streaming on Twitch and he was playing Doom. It was like a new version of Doom or something. Or actually, no, he was playing a different game. And a guy came into his stream and said, "Play Doom." And he was like, no, I'm playing something else right now, actually. And the guy just says, "Gay," and then he just left. And I'm like, wow, that's really rude. It's like, guy comes in, demands that I play Doom. When I say no, calls me gay, and then just leaves. Right. I was actually going to ban the guy, but then by the time I was going to do it, he'd already left. Just wanted to say what he had to say and then run, I guess. Oh yeah, I forgot about this guy. Right, right. And see, I would never do that, you know. If I come into somebody else's stream, and if they say something like, if they're like, "Hey, do you stream?" Then, you know, also like, yeah, I stream too, and I might tell them a little bit about what I do. But I never like going to somebody else's stream and just like try to promote my stuff. Because I know a lot of people don't like that, so it's like, why would I do that, you know? I think that's the... Yeah, we won't return to mushrooms or scarecrows. One thing I will do every once in a while is I'll try to raid somebody if there's somebody that I follow that I think, you know, deserves the raid. Sometimes one of my friends will actually suggest somebody that they think, you know, deserves to have a raid, and I'll raid that person. But, you know, if they're good people, I don't mind doing that. Right, right. I did not get a lot of sleep last night, although that's actually nothing new for me, but... And I knew I had to be up early to do all the things I was going to do today, so... That didn't help matters, but... Oh no. My sleep's been off for years, so I just kind of deal with it. I used to listen to podcasts like to help me fall asleep, and then my therapist, who, well, is now my ex-therapist, he said, "Oh, you shouldn't listen to podcasts actually because you know your brain, like when you're trying to go to sleep, if you're listening to somebody talking, your brain wants to like engage with what it's hearing, like if it's hearing people talking, so it's actually like not good to listen to podcasts." He's like, if anything, you should just listen to something like classical music, like that's relaxing. And I thought, well, that's funny because I've been listening to podcasts for a while, and usually I could fall asleep to podcasts. Now it's a little different. Um, Actually, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, I definitely should do that. I love that emote, or that drawing, I should say. It's funny because I know like a lot of people, like you, me, and I think Duster, and maybe Arma. We all have like on Discord. We have like our Clue, versions of ourselves, and then Coach still has, Bald Bull. So it's kind of funny. Like he's the odd man out, but I guess probably for as long as I've known Coach on Discord, he's had the Bald Bull uh, avatar. But yeah, it's great. I I posted that. I know I've probably said this, but I posted that on Facebook, and all my family was like, "Oh yeah, that totally looks like you." So I forget what I'm supposed to do. Okay. I don't know. I'll look this way. Yeah, probably. We'll have to do another Clue night pretty soon because I always enjoy. Was there? I thought that was the guy that I fought, or was that a different treasure chest? My banner? Um, Probably not that old. Probably like maybe a couple years, I guess. If you're talking about like the one that shows up on Twitch, yeah, that's only like a couple years old, I think. And I actually did make that. I had a program like generate that just because I was lazy and didn't want to try to make one myself. But I mean, it's whatever. I don't really care. For the longest time, I had one picture. I had like that 80s looking picture of me with the glasses as my Twitch picture. And then I just recently changed it to the other picture, whatever it is now. Right, right. Because I had one of me with the beard, and then I basically fed it into the. Actually, yeah. Let me see. Oh, okay. It's a coin thing. Um, but yeah, I fed it into this generator, and I said, like, can you just make an image like that, but without the beard? And so it did, and then that's what I changed it to. But yeah, it fits because of the records. So, and actually, I think that's also my uh, Facebook uh, profile pic too. I remember getting lost in the sewers as a kid because I always like just had trouble with like mazes and stuff. You know, this is kind of a random thing, but there's one record that I had a chance to buy. This was, I think, last year. It was at a record store, and I didn't buy it. It wasn't anything particularly special, but it was one of the Beach Boys did this record, and it's like a lot of like his Beach Boys stuff, but it's also like new songs, and like Neil Young sings on it, and like Graham Nash and stuff. And I saw it at this record store, and I thought about buying it, and I didn't buy it. And I think they had a pretty good price on it. And now, if you can even find it online, it's like about an $80 or $90 record. So it's just one of those things where it's like I had a choice. I gave myself a choice between two records, and one of them was that one, and that's not the one I bought. And then when I actually listened to that one later, like I listened to it online, I was like, man, I should have bought that one. It's just one of those things where like I could have bought it when it was not expensive, and now it is very expensive. So it's like, yeah, probably won't be getting that one. Cool. I will definitely check out your page. Cool. I do like the name Quack Attack Gaming. That's a good Twitch name, I think. You know, I was not Sergeant Salt and Pepper when I first came to Twitch. And the problem was my other name. People always had trouble like pronouncing it because my name's a reference to the Beatles, and my original name was also a reference to the Beatles. But people just kept mispronouncing my other name, so I was like, I'm gonna change it. And I just got lucky in that it was just something I thought about. I like Sergeant Pepper, that's my favorite Beatles album. And then I thought, well, Pepper, Salt and Pepper, so there's not much that I've done in my life that I'm like really proud of, but that I was able to come up with that, I was like, yeah, I was at least happy about that. I actually did find out later that there is another Sergeant Salt and Pepper online. Some guy years ago had that name on like some random forum, but he didn't have it on Twitch, and I didn't know that some guy had it on a random forum, so. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, once I got my Twitch name changed, I pretty much just changed it over on everything, even like my YouTube. Because that was the name everybody knew me by, so I was like, well, might as well just change it on all accounts. Oh, nice. Time to fight. I don't know, Bellum, I guess. I always called him Bellum. I don't know if it's below me or Bellamy or whatever. I always said Bellum. Some of these characters, like, it's kind of wild to see them in HD, because when I used to see them on Super Nintendo and the quality was not quite as good, you know, it was kind of hard to tell some of them what exactly they were supposed to look like. So then when I finally got to see them in HD, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, Danny's good people. Does emotes, layouts. Did emotes for me. Did my Twitch layout. Cool. Yeah, I can't wait for the hand banana emote when you get that one put up. You mean the ones you made, the record badges, or is that what you're talking about? Because those I did set up, yeah, or add or whatever, yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to say yes to that. Yeah. That's one of my favorite episodes. I mean, I've got several of Aqua Teen, but the first time I saw that one, I thought that one was so hilarious. It's interesting now because Twitch is doing the thing where you can use what they call your spendable balance. So if you have money like from payouts, you can use it for bits, or you can use it to gift subs to other people. So a lot of times, like if you see me, uh, cheering bits, it's usually because I just use my spendable balance and then I can purchase bits, which is a relatively, I think, new thing they've done. I've only gotten paid out once, and it was like, I think it was like $50, but it was pretty good because it came at a time where having extra $50 was pretty cool. So I appreciated that. I was never very good at this part of the stage, but I'll do my best. 60, I only have 51. Did he get a Koopa shell, though? Yeah, definitely. You know what kind of sucks is when like you follow somebody on YouTube or subscribe, and then when they like change up their content to the point where it's just like it's completely different from like the kind of content they used to make, but maybe like not for the better. It's like they've changed kind of for the worse, and then you're kind of like, well, I guess I'm not subscribed to this person anymore. I used to have trouble with the part of this world where you have to do the music notes, which is funny because I could read like basic music notes, but I still had trouble with it as a kid. I had to write it down so I could remember. Right. Well, there's like a guy that I followed on YouTube, and he used to do content about like other YouTubers and also talk about like YouTube, like, stories about like stuff on YouTube. And different things like that. And now he mostly just does content about like either porn stars, or he just came out with a video where it's like actors whose children have become porn stars. And it's like, I don't want to repeatedly watch content about porn stars because I don't care about porn stars. But that's like pretty much all he does anymore. It's just like, let me tell you the story of this porn star and like how they totally ruined their life. It's like, I don't care. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't have merch. Probably never will have merch. I did make a custom shirt using my Sergeant Salt and Pepper logo, but I just made one for myself just to wear around. And I don't even wear it that much, but I just wanted to see if I could do it. And I went to customink.com and they made it for me, so I'm currently like, I had previously paid for like a year, like prepaid for a year of YouTube Premium, and right now I'm back to YouTube with ads. So I'm basically not watching a lot of YouTube because I just cannot fucking stand the ads. But in a funny way, it's kind of good because it's forced me to basically find other stuff to watch. And it's like I have a lot of DVDs, a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. So I'm watching those instead of just mindlessly surfing YouTube trying to find something to watch. So it actually kind of worked out for the better, I guess. Yeah, I've used Redbubble a couple of times. I bought a shirt one time that had like all of Robin Williams like movie characters on it, which was pretty cool. And when I wore it, it got a lot of attention. Like people would look at it and they'd be like, "Oh, Robin Williams," because they'd see like the genie or they'd see like Mrs. Doubtfire or something. And I think the last thing I bought on Redbubble, believe it or not, was a birthday card for my step grandmother because she loves Carol Burnett, and they had a Carol Burnett birthday card. And I'd never seen anybody have a Carol Burnett birthday card before, so I was like, "Oh, I'm totally getting this." And she thought it was really funny, so. But yeah, I use T Public a lot when I buy t-shirts. I haven't bought a t-shirt in a while, but sometimes I just go on there just to look and see what they have. That's the other thing, like aside from records, the other thing I buy a lot of is t-shirts. Probably too many. Although I have tried to get rid of a lot of ones I don't wear anymore. Oh yeah? What was it a design of? Was it like a Twitch thing, or was it just something you put together? Oh, okay. Yeah, did you ever end up watching that new show on HBO Max with uh, what is it called? Oh, I forget what it's called. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Well, yeah, Chair Company. I haven't seen it because I don't have HBO Max. But I've seen like on YouTube they posted like songs from like the soundtrack of that show. Because I guess, some people like they got some people to redo or do covers of like some old songs, and they're on like the soundtrack. But yeah, I was just curious because I know you like Tim Robinson, so there are a lot of Robinsons out there in the world. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I found out that I was like related to him and like some like a distant like second cousin twice removed or something, but probably not because Robinson's a very common name. I actually learned something earlier last year when I was doing my ancestry.com stuff, which I'd never done before, and I learned that Robinson is, well, the name Robinson it comes from England. It's British, and it means son of Robin, which I guess should have been pretty obvious, but I never thought about that. But yeah, Craig Robinson is another one. I actually did not know that the name Robinson like originated from Britain. Actually, my mom told me that before I did my ancestry DNA thing. She's like, well, you know that Robinson's a British name, right? I was like, no, I had no idea. I think they told me, obviously, my mom's Korean, so I have like, I'm part Korean. Also, I'm part, I have roots in the British Isles, I guess, and I think they said 1% Irish, which my grandmother had always said that her ancestors were, she always used to say they were Scotch Irish, so they were sort of like a combination of Scottish and Irish, I guess, which I didn't know was a thing, but I mean, I have it saved somewhere on the computer where it has like the pie chart and it tells you the percentages and all that, but I was kind of surprised because a lot of the things that it told me um, were things that I was just kind of surprised it knew. Like saying that I get my musical talents from my dad's side of the family, which is true because there were a lot of people that sang and played instruments on his side of the family. And I went on there and tried to do my family trees for both my parents, but while it's easy to do for my dad's side because there's a lot of like documents and history, recorded history on his side of the family, my mom's family is trickier because her family's Korean and I don't know a lot about her family. Nobody on her side of the family ever told me a lot about like her side of the family, so I kind of had to go based on what I knew, and based on what I knew I couldn't get a whole lot of results, but I was able to pull up some stuff about my grandfather, her father, who passed before I was born, so I never knew him. But I was able to pull up some things about him, and when he passed, I was able to pull up an obituary from a newspaper. But, you know, my grandmother was big into all that genealogy stuff, learning about, like, family histories and family trees and stuff. I only kind of wanted to try to learn more about that in recent years. All right. Well, thank you very much, Quack Attack, for hanging out. And I look forward to seeing you next time. So have a good rest of your evening. I'm probably going to try to get to the end of, well, at least this part, and then I'll probably call it for the night, because this is a pretty good long first part to, you know, the whole playthrough of Mario RPG, so... Usually I take the health level ups when I get them instead of the attacks, which I don't know if that's the better thing, but it's just how I've always played it. I always wondered if they were called Jagger because of Mick Jagger, or if that was just a coincidence. That's the only other Jagger I know, so... Like, wouldn't it be funny if someone on the Nintendo team was like a big Rolling Stones fan or something? Alright, cool. So we'll go to Rose Town and we'll save. Then I'm gonna call it, I think. Remember where the inn is. Well, I have to go through this first, I guess. Actually, I don't know. Can you save in the inn here? I forget. It's like his calling card is like, oh, if you're really Mario, then you'll do a jump, a high jump. And even if you play Mario's Time Machine for Super Nintendo, which I don't know why anybody would want to play that game because it's like doing schoolwork, but I think if you play and you go to time period where you have to talk to Isaac Newton, and he's like, Mario, I can't comprehend the physics of how you managed to jump so impressively. I remember I rented Mario's Missing as a kid, and I didn't know what to do. And then my neighbors, they had two girls, and they had Mario's Time Machine, and I played it over at their house, and I had no idea. Like the time machine, I pushed the button, the time machine came down. The next thing I know, I'm surfing on the water, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I didn't know you were supposed to put in the right time period, and you had to collect the mushrooms and go into the whirlpool. I didn't know, because they just kind of drop you in. They don't tell you anything. I feel sorry for any kid that got Mario's Missing or Mario's Time Machine like as a gift. Their parents were like, "Well, you said you like Mario, so I got you this Mario's Time Machine," and then they play it and they find out it's like doing homework. All right, good. We got to the save. So yeah, we covered a lot of ground in part one of this series, ongoing series to beat Mario RPG. So very good. So I think that's going to do it for me. But I want to thank everybody that hung out. Danny, Quack Attack, Duster, and yeah, I probably won't stream tomorrow, so I will probably be back on. Well, I will be back on Tuesday night. So yeah, take care, everybody, and have a good night. Later.